welcome to Otter Talk episode number 8. This is going to cover the week of January 21st to January 27th. With a big guest coming on the show this week, we got Arron Siebenthall of men's basketball here at Ottawa University. It was a pleasure to interview him. Wanted to thank him for coming on and being our first guest on this Otter Talk show. With that being said, we're going to get this underway with men's basketball. As I mentioned before, I had the pleasure of interviewing Arron Siebenthall just minutes ago, talking about the recent winning streak and their big games to come as they look to finish out this season. Hello and welcome to Otter Talk. I've got with me a special guest, our first guest on the show. I've got Arron Siebenthall, Coach Arron Siebenthall of Braves Men Hoops. Arron, how's it? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Well, first and foremost, big win last night. How impactful was the student section? I know that it was packed last night.
No, it was huge. It's one thing that we pride ourselves on and we recruit to. We had a big-time recruit there last night, and we talk about our student section and how loud that gym gets. And then you throw in the cheer team and the dance team and the band, and it was an electric atmosphere. And we didn't have our best stuff last night, and so we had to really kind of fight through and kind of play more of a defensive-minded game. And I think the student section and the energy in the gym really kind of catapulted us to that win last night. Speaking
of on your form offensively, just saw the post for the Braves Men Hoops social media page that you guys are the number one top scoring team in all of the four-year institutions. How does it feel to be the coach of the most potent offense in the nation?
Yeah, it feels good. It's kind of an identity we've tried to build and who we want to be as far as playing fast, is trying to score a lot of points. And, I think that's one reason that, good players want to come play for us. I think that's one reason we can get some people in the stands that, maybe aren't huge basketball fans, but, it's a fun style of play. So last night wasn't as fun. We just couldn't get it going quite well. But, when we're playing and scoring in the 90s or 100 points, we're making a lot of threes and we're getting out and running and guys are dunking. It's a lot of fun. So it's a lot of hard work by our guys and a very intentional recruiting process. And really how we play is we want to play fast. We want to try and score a lot of points and hopefully mix in a little bit of defense so we can stop the other team from scoring a lot of points. And if we do that, usually things end up well for us.
And you speak about recruiting. I know that the second unit's always we're always top in second off the bench points and all this the second team kind of points. How important is it to have that kind of plug and play next man up kind of attitude?
Yeah, it's really, really important. When you play fast, you can be in really good shape. It doesn't matter. When you play fast and you commit to running, guys are going to get tired. And lucky for us, usually the other team gets tired as well. And then if we can bring in another wave of guys that are as good, we've got an All-American coming off the bench this year in Jaquan Daniels. So our guys have bought into starting doesn't matter. All that stuff doesn't matter. Who gets the shots doesn't matter. So we're playing 8-9 guys every night. We still got a couple of young guys on the bench that we trust that we could throw in there if we need to. So having that depth and being able to play fast and hopefully tire the other team out is huge. If you saw the game last night, number 23, Solomon Clayton, Bethany's best player, he multiple times was bent over at the waist, hands on his knees. That guy was gassed, and so that's a big part of our strategy, and that's one reason we want to play so fast.
And then coming up on the second half of the season, 6-game winning streak, 3 wins at home. How different is it to face these teams a second time with a more of an enhanced game plan?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what it is. Our philosophy is, the first time around, let's be who we are. Let's play how we play. Let's not game plan a ton. Let's just kind of see how it goes. And the second time around, there's definitely game planning. I think defensively last night, that was the most game planning we've done all year and probably will be. Again, to stop Solomon Clayton, 23 for Bethany. I think we did a good job of slowing him down. So there's definitely a lot more game planning. It's, in conference, everybody knows everybody so well. You know what the other team's going to do, their plays. And so it's really about making a few small adjustments, but important ones. And you're going to see usually a lot closer games the second time around with everybody, no matter what happened the first time.
Exactly. Being a part of a couple of national tournament teams, I know you have in your past couple of years, what kind of X factor does it take to get to that extra level?
Yeah, I think really the most important thing is chemistry. You have to have good players, and you have to have a sound strategy and all that stuff, and that's kind of, I think, a given for teams that make it to the national tournament. But you really got to have guys that care for each other, that want to play together, that want to play for each other. And so, and coaches can foster that chemistry a little bit, but it's really got to come from the players. They got to enjoy playing with and for each other. And if you can get that chemistry where it needs to be, you have a chance to be special. Our last tournament team that went 28-6 and set the school record for wins. We went to a really fun trip to start the year in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I think that really brought that.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that really brought that team together. And whether it was just I think it took us 20 hours to get there. We had 4 or 5 multiple 2.5, 3 hour layovers in the airport, whether it's cramming, 20 guys into 2 minivans, whatever it is, those guys just kind of being on top of each other. They either had to really get along or they were going to hate each other at the end of it. And they really enjoyed each other and enjoyed playing for and with each other. And so I think chemistry is a big thing that's underrated. And then you got to sprinkle in a little bit of luck. You got to have some stuff go your way, whether you're avoiding injuries, whatever it is. Sometimes just the 1 or 2 bounces of the ball is the difference. So I say chemistry and a little bit of luck are kind of the 2 things that you need to get to the national tournament.
What would you say is this year's X factor?
I think for us, we just got to be bought into the defensive end. We're obviously a team that can score. We have a lot of weapons. I think for us is if we'll continue to get better and better on the defensive end, which we have been lately. We've won games in the 60s when we've scored 100 in this win streak. And so for us to be able to win and playing multiple styles is really important for us. But it's got to be our defense. We don't have to be a great defensive team, but we have to be a team that no matter what's going on offensively, that we're bought into doing things on the defensive end. And these guys are getting better defensively with every game.
And then big game coming up tomorrow, going up to Bethel, play the nationally ranked number 23 team in the nation. What's it going to take to be different this time? I know we kind of had a bit of a rocky start against them last time playing at home. No fans, obviously.
Yep.
What's it going to take this time to come out with that victory?
Yeah, we actually played really well against them in the first half. We were up 13 at halftime and played really well, and then they just kind of, I think they got really physical with us. They've got Jalen Scott, who's the reigning first-team All-American player of the year in the conference, and he's playing at an even higher level, and he just kind of went to work on us. So I think what we're going to probably try and do is see if he can score 50 points to beat us and not let anyone else score. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of going to be our mentality going into this next game, and he might be able to. I don't know. We'll find out. But, I think we just have to be able to go down there and match their physicality. They're really physical. They kind of grab and hold. They kind of push the limits of the rules and hope the officials get bored with calling the same thing over and over again. So we got to go down there and match their physicality and their toughness and not worry about whether we're getting calls or not on the road because we're not going to get them. So we just need to go down there with that mindset of this is going to be a tough physical game, and we got to be ready to go to war.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Arron Siebenthall with Braves men basketball for joining us. 6-game winning streak, hoping it's 7, 8, 9, all the way to the end. Make sure everybody comes to the field house, packs the field house for both men's and women's basketball as both of them look to push towards the KCAC tournament. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Ottawa, at the time of recording, comes in with a record of 16-8 and 12-6 in the KCAC, winning the last 6 games to catapult them all the way up into 4th place in the standings. The first key matchup of the week was at home against the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes. This is a big matchup just for more than just basketball, as the Braves wear pink jerseys to honor those who have or those who have had breast cancer. The Coyotes would come out hot, jump into a 14-4 lead before it was the Braves' turn to turn up the heat. A 12-0 run would bring the game to 16-14 in the Braves' favor. The defense was the key to this run as multiple steals led to buckets on the other end. Kansas Wesleyan would put together a run of their own and take the advantage going into halftime. The momentum would be with Ottawa, though, as a crazy buzzer beater at the end of the half would send them into the locker room on a high note. 3 straight threes 5 minutes into the second half would move Ottawa's lead up and get the crowd involved as well in the Wilson Fieldhouse. K-Dub would possess the lead one more time in the game before the Braves would be able to hold the Coyotes at arm's reach, hitting all 8 of their late-game free throws. The lead would get to as much as 9 in the second half as Ottawa was able to secure the 67-60 victory. Andre Jackson led the way in terms of scoring, finishing the game with 17 points, along with 2 other Braves that joined him in double digits. With the win, the Braves hopped over the Coyotes in the KCAC standings for 5th place. After extending the winning streak, the Braves would go on the road to Kansas City to face Avila. Ottawa came out guns blazing as they shot 50% from the field and close to 50% from 3. The offense was not the only thing that propelled the Braves in the first half, as they came away with 6 steals and 10 turnovers. The lead would grow to 27 near the end of the first half, with the Braves rolling into the break. The second half got a bit dicey for the Braves as the Eagles were able to outscore the Braves 45-30. Avila controlled the offensive boards, pulling down 10 offensive rebounds. The Eagles were able to cut into the lead, bringing it down to 5 at one point, before the Braves went on a mini run to move the score back to double digits. The lead would stay around double digits to the end of the game, and Ottawa would win the game 76-68. Tristan Hull led the Braves with 14 points and was accompanied with 2 other Braves in double digits. Ottawa would host Bethany on Thursday, bringing the winning streak to 6, which would be 1 shy of the season-high 7. The Swedes came into the fieldhouse tied with the Braves as both teams fought for 4th place in the KCAC. The game was chippy all the way through, and you knew it would be physically demanding, as we saw Bethany pick up 27 fouls throughout the game. The Braves would be able to take the advantage into the halftime break behind a solid shooting performance from the free throw line, as well as forcing 11 turnovers from the Swedes. The Braves would take a 6-point lead into the half and look to keep the pressure going into the second. The second half was just like the first, an unflinching dogfight to the end. The Braves would shoot 27 free throws in the second half and make 21 of them. Behind a rocking crowd, the Braves were able to hold the Swedes' advances at bay, never relinquishing the lead after taking it at the 12-17 mark of the first half. The win extended the winning streak to 6 in an important stretch of games for the Braves. The Braves would travel on the road to number 23 Bethel on Saturday to look to snap their 13-game winning streak. They will then host Friends on February 2nd as they try to climb up the KCAC standings. Women's basketball comes in with a record of 7-15 overall and 5-13 in the KCAC. They will look to carry the momentum of a big overtime victory in the previous game on the road against St. Mary. They would first host the Coyotes of Kansas Wesleyan. The first quarter would go back and forth with the lead changing 6 times. With a bucket at the end of the first quarter, Ottawa would take a 1-point lead into the second. The second quarter would be all Braves with 6 offensive rebounds, pushed the lead to as much as 10 before the Coyotes were able to cut it down to 2 going into halftime. The second half would go the complete opposite way for the Braves, as the third quarter went back and forth just like the first, while the fourth quarter saw K-Dub click as they out-rebounded Ottawa 16-19 and shot 50% from the field. The lead grew to 11 when the Braves began to cut into it. They were able to get it down to 5, but were unsuccessful in completing the fourth quarter comeback. Kinesia Payne would lead all scorers with a great showing, finishing with 29 points. Liz Vaughn would join her in the double digits with 11. With the loss to Kansas Wesleyan, the Braves would go on the road to Avila, who was receiving votes at the time. Avila would take the lead from the jump and lead wire to wire, taking the lead from the tip and extending the lead to as much as 17. The Braves struggled to get many baskets to fall as they shot 27% from the field and 15% from 3. Kinesia Payne followed up her 29-point outing with another double-digit performance and a double-double, finishing with 11 points along with Kennedy Bankett, who finished with 11. Bethany came into the fieldhouse on Thursday as the Braves looked to get back into the win column. The first quarter was a fight between the two teams, with the lead changing 3 times between the two. Ottawa turned the ball over 9 times in the first quarter, and as the second quarter began, the Swedes would catch fire. The Swedes shot 11 of 16 from the field, moving the lead to 18. The Braves would try to fight back, shooting 50% from the field in the third quarter, but were unable to bring the score any closer than 13. 3 Braves would finish with 10 or more as Kinesia Payne led the way once again as she had the last 2 games, this time with 17. Men's volleyball came to their match this week on a high after starting the season 2-0. With a hard-fought win last time out against Westcliff, the Braves would have another tough matchup against Morningside. The Braves would grab the lead early in the first set, but the Mustangs would not go down easy, tying the set at 24-24. A kill and a block would help secure the set victory for the Braves as they came out on top 26-24. Ottawa would again start the set rolling, grabbing the lead early in the set, but again the Mustangs would fight their way back. The Braves were able to keep them at arm's reach in set number 2 and came away with the win 25-18. Morningside would control set number 3, but that did not stop the Braves from storming all the way back. They ended up tying the set at 23 before a mini run would be able to give the Braves the edge as they won the set 26-24. The Braves finished the match with 39 kills, an attacking percentage of .329, 38 assists, 9 service aces, 30 digs, and 7.5 blocks. Kyle Cox finished the match with a double-double to go along with 2 Braves and double-digit kills. Men's wrestling comes into the time of recording nationally ranked at 14 in the latest poll that just came out yesterday, Thursday the 27th. To go along with the national ranking, 9 Braves are ranked nationally in their weight class, 2 making it into the top 10 of their weight classes as well. They went to Kansas City to compete in the Avila duels, where they faced Avila and William Jewell. The Braves once again flexed their dominance on the mat, beating both teams by wide margins. First, competing against William Jewell, the Braves would win all but one of their matches, coming away with a fall and 2 others coming from a major decision. They would come away with the 47-3 victory. Next, Ottawa would face off against Avila, and they would finish the match with 7 falls, 3 technical falls, and a major decision. Avila would take a penalty and finish with negative points, bringing the final score to 54-1. Ottawa will host Baker, who is receiving votes in the national poll, as well as York on the 28th of January. Then, the Braves will host St. Mary on Tuesday, February 3rd for senior night, as we'll look to see all of you there. And that'll wrap up episode number 8 of Otter Talk. Big thanks to Arron Siebenthall, who came on and was a great guest, had a great interview. Good luck to him and the men's basketball team for the rest of the season. Got some big games coming up for the Braves, including a couple of home matches against Friends, as multiple teams look to extend their winning streaks. Men's volleyball already at 3, men's basketball at 6. Let's make sure we pack the field house as we look to see everybody there for men's basketball, women's volleyball, even the wrestling teams. Let's make sure we pack the field house and support our Braves. For everyone here behind the camera, I'm Blake Griffin, signing off.